Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering personalized service to customers from their first visit to the store to when they drive their new Land Rover home. More at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com. This is WCBU, Peoria Public Radio.
Township government is one of the oldest existing forms of government in America, but what purposes do they serve in 2024? That's just one of the things you want to hear about to start your day for Thursday, May 2nd. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, a Peoria nonprofit is building partnerships to make the area a little friendlier to those with food allergies. Lindsay Spangler is the co-founder of Red Sneakers Peoria, the local chapter of a national nonprofit that educates communities about food allergies and the importance of epinephrine. Spangler has a daughter with a food allergy.
For our family and for so many other food allergy families, dining out is something you just don't do, right? The risk of an allergic reaction is the second most common place for allergic reaction is a restaurant. So, our families, we avoid that.
Part of Red Sneakers Peoria's mission is making more restaurants allergy-friendly for families like Spangler's. This week, Spangler is educating staff at Clink Bar and Events in Peoria Heights. The restaurant will get a food allergy-friendly certification and resources like EpiPens donated from Red Sneakers by the end of the process.
Our goal is all of Peoria Heights. There's so many restaurants in there. We really want Peoria Heights to be the hub of the allergy-friendly neighborhood, allergy-friendly restaurants, and then obviously expand to the Peoria area.
Spangler says, to her knowledge, Clink will be the very first venue in the greater Peoria area to have the certification. The organization is celebrating with a launch party tonight at Clink from 5 to 10 p.m. Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum is now home to a document that historians say helped start the Civil War. And many Illinois-based banks, credit unions, and mortgage lenders will soon have to start reporting to state regulators about loans they make in low and moderate income neighborhoods. Plus, a teenager is dead after a shooting in Peoria Tuesday evening. You can find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. Township government is the oldest existing form of government in North America, dating back almost 400 years. Peoria County is one of 85 counties in Illinois where townships continue to operate. Does it still need them? WCBU's Joe Deacon takes a closer look.
Peoria City Manager Patrick Urich points out that although the city council members also serve as Peoria Township trustees, the government units are totally separate entities.
It harkens back to really our nation's founding, where township government was one of the units of government that was closest to the people, where you would have a town meeting and the electors would gather together, and really in the spirit of direct democracy, items could come up for them to discuss.
While all of Peoria Township is contained within Peoria city limits, the city extends into other townships, including Richwoods, Medina, and Radnor. Under Illinois law, township governments are tasked with three main functions: general assistance for those in need, assessment of property for tax purposes, and maintenance of all roads and bridges outside of other jurisdictions. Peoria Township Supervisor Latrina Leary notes they have no roads or bridges of their own to maintain.
However, we do have a township assessor and a township supervisor who, assessor does the assessments of properties throughout Peoria Township, and the supervisor of general assistance that provide some assistance within the community.
Over the years, various efforts have pushed to abolish townships as a way to save taxpayer money, but Leary says transferring Peoria Township duties to the city would not be cost-effective.
The services that we do provide are not provided in any other branch. So it's not a redundant responsibility that the things that we offer. There are some things that could be updated, but I do not think that it's outdated to where we should no longer have a township.
Currently, Peoria County has 19 townships, after West Peoria Township was dissolved in May of 2021. West Peoria's Jim Dillon served 14 years on the township board before becoming the city's mayor.
I think that being on the township board helped me because it is an efficient form of government, and it's kind of more grassroots than any of it. But once we became a city, the city took over the road and bridge district, and that left the township with not much left to do.
Peoria County Administrator Scott Sorrell says the county has a long-standing partnership with the townships, particularly in the rural areas. He says the county already has barely enough funding to maintain its 350 miles of county highways.
If we were to take on the township road network as well, it would be completely overwhelming, and we would absolutely see the quality of the township roads deteriorate. So from that aspect, township road commissioners play a vital role, and I really can't envision us ever wanting to get in that business.
Illinois State University Professor Emeritus Michael Sublette has studied the history of township governments and written several books and articles about their place in Illinois government. Sublette says in some areas, like the Chicago and St. Louis suburbs, townships have expanded their roles.
They'll take over cemeteries that are having a hard time maintaining themselves. Some townships do recycling. One or two have airports, libraries, senior citizen centers, daycare centers. They've looked for all sorts of ways to make themselves relevant.
Dillon says West Peoria had a smooth transition in folding the township roles into city government.
I hated to see it go, but it made sense at the time because there wasn't a need. As everybody always says, you know, the government's too big, and this was a way that we could do away with one of them and save the taxpayers money, and it worked out.
Sorrell says if the townships were dissolved, the county would need to add staff to start a general assistance program from scratch. He says that's a policy discussion the county does not want to have. For WCBU's On Deck, I'm Joe Deacon.
Now, before we let you go, children's author Candace Fleming, who recently wrote a book on honeybees, will be at the Peoria Public Library North Branch from 6 to 7:30 p.m. tonight as part of Peoria Reads 2024. The event is free and open to all ages. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.